So it appears that some people must be offended by my last video, because we tried to share it on some pages on Facebook, and yeah, the content was blocked. You know, what people need to wake up to, if they get offended by me swearing, I don't give a fuck. If their life is challenged because they get upset at somebody using bad language, well, I've got news for them. You're in for a fucking big shock, because the world is one very nasty, horrible place. I mean, take the Dalai Lama, look at him, eh? Decides he wants to get his tongue sucked. I guarantee that's not the only thing that he's getting sucked as well, along with all the other sick, horrible fucking perverts and fucking paedophiles in high-level places that do absolutely disgusting things to children because they think they can get away with it. Well, they're the ones that want fucking sick bastards. So I want to talk about something I was alerted to about a year ago. I have a lot of friends in a lot of good places, and I get a lot of good advice coming through from them. And I've got a guy who's high up in a very large financial organisation that make investments around the world. And he said to me that the trend that his company was tracking was the potential war between the USA and Mexico. I thought he was fucking mad. I thought he'd lost the plot. I'm down here in Mexico. Why the fuck would the US want to invade Mexico? Well, I think 12 months later, that might all be starting to make a little bit of sense now. America are fucked. The dollar, which has been the world reserve currency, and the strength of the dollar has been absolutely destroyed. China have come in, and true to the art of war by Sun Tzu, they have used the art of war to bring down the powerhouse that's the United States of America. And they've done this financially, which leaves America very few options left. One of those options being war. Mexico have decided that they want to join the BRICS nation, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. And along with some big players now around the world, including Saudi Arabia, there's a lot of countries that want to be part of this trade agreement. This is going to absolutely destroy the US economy. And the only option they have really on the table now is no longer financial. It's by using their military might to bring down whatever they can and try and salvage what they are losing rapidly. And to be honest, I don't think they've got a hope in hell of winning a war. They've never had a hope in hell of winning a war. They didn't win the war on terror. They didn't win the war on drugs. In fact, I can't remember the last time stupid fuckers actually won a war at all, especially the ones that they create. Now, the overthrow that they're going to do, the GOP, the good old party is suggesting, because of the influx of drugs into the US, that they bomb Mexico and attack Mexico. This is typical of a strategic movement that they always seem to do. We've seen it in the Middle East, we've seen it in Ukraine, and this is a political overthrow of the countries. They go in like they did in countries in the Middle East and Afghanistan and Iraq. We saw it happen in Egypt, in the Arab Springs, the colour revolutions, all funded by people like George Soros to destabilise these countries. And once they destabilise these countries, they then put in their own government, a government that is controlled by them. The US don't really have many options on where to go. But what they do have is the option to brace themselves where they are and maybe cross the borders and seize land and take control of those countries. And one of those countries directly on the border is Mexico. The other border is Canada. So maybe Canada want to start thinking about their position in regards to that as well. You see, this isn't about the influx of drugs into the US. This is about land grabbing, resource grabbing, and infiltrating the governments of those countries. If you don't like what I'm saying, shut up. But this is what's happening. This is what their plan has always been with every country that they have gone in to try and destabilise. Every single time. And the sad part is, it's the old playbook over and over again. I don't think this playbook's going to work. I think deciding, hello there puppy, how are you? I think that this attack upon Mexico would be an absolute ridiculous mistake. I don't think they realise by any stretch of the imagination what it is they are dealing with here. This country is very solid. The people are very solid. What they need to do to get to the government is to break the one thing that the government fear, which is why they're going after the cartels. If they can break that, which they will never do, because believe me, these guys know how to handle military and police. So, the plan to invade Mexico will fail at the first hurdle. Absolutely fail. But just think of the effect if they did go ahead with this. Because they need land, they need resources, they need money. It's not going to happen. But there's a lot of Americans already living here. So much so, what do you think the Mexicans will do to the Americans that live here? They'll do exactly the same as what happened in Canada with the Japanese, where they take the people and they lock them up in jail. And I'm sure a lot of the Americans that live here do not want to end up in a Mexican jail whilst this war is going on. I'm sure the treatment would be absolutely top class, like a 5-star hotel. But this is where it would happen, and this is where it would go. What the USA need to do is keep their fucking noses out of other people's businesses. And if they overspend and fuck their country up to the extent that they have because of the fucking idiots that they put in control and charge, just trying to bleed other countries dry and cause wars around the world and using NATO to prod Russia and to prod China. I mean, how fucking stupid do you have to be? Be like me going up and grabbing a set of fucking balls on a bull and then dealing with the fucking problem as its horns fucking ram right through my body and destroy me. There's certain things you don't do in this world, and there's certain people you don't attack. And I think the US are at a point now where their desperation has grown so much that they are just prodding and poking at the wrong people. So let's see how this plays out. I was warned about this a long time ago. I didn't expect it to happen. But the saber rattling is continuing as the desperation of a country on the brink of absolute collapse and chaos does what it can to try and save itself. Let me tell you now, it's beyond saving. People need to start thinking about their futures and protecting themselves now and getting themselves ready for what's coming. This is all by design. And sadly, as it sweeps around the world, its effects on humanity are going to be absolutely enormous. And the effects that it has on humanity are going to be absolutely disastrous. Take care, everyone. And I hope those who are very sensitive and upset about me swearing on some of these videos get a fucking life.